Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another video. I've got a couple of things to show you today. This is basically what I've been painting up since my last video. These are basically items that I just came across the company I bought them from by fluke, and I decided to, every year around my birthday, I always get myself a present, because I only really get like one present from my sister, and that's more or less it. I tend to buy myself, and I always end up getting it late because I hardly ever see my sister. So to kind of to kick myself out of having birthday blues, I always try and get myself a present as well, just so I can have something to sort of like, even though it's obviously fake, that you can say this is my birthday present. So I came across this company by complete fluke. It's a company called Hammerline Miniatures. Now they do like animals, fantasy, and like science fiction, and their science fiction is very sort of 40k-esque. I mean, I'm sure they kind of cater for swap overs between Imperial Guard and I think they do like Traitor Guard, and they do like orcs, and they do like Tyranny type things, and they also do a hell of a lot of vehicles as well, and they're really good. So I ended up picking up a couple of these vehicles as birthday presents to myself, and unfortunately, because they were so busy, they basically, this place is like a 3D printing type place, and they obviously print the vehicles for you, and they're incredibly well priced. I mean, from my experience of buying like resin spaceships, they're pretty pricey. They're well over £100. They take a long time to come, and and a lot of the time they have to come from another country. So basically, like I say, I picked up two of these things. One I believe is called a Vulture Gunship, and the second thing is literally just called a Grimguard armoured vehicle. So let's start off with the very first thing that I fell in love with, and that is the Vulture Gunship. So let's bring it in, and we'll just zoom out to try and get a full shot of it. So basically you get everything that you see in this picture here. You basically get the stand, you get the chopper itself, obviously it comes in pieces, and you have to obviously stick it together yourself and obviously paint it, etc. So this is a really awesome model. I think this was like £44, and it comes with a choice of weaponry for its for the wings, and also you also get a choice for the sponsoon weapons here, and you also get, I think, at least one choice, or maybe two, for the bottom here as well, chin gun. And the coolest thing about it is that obviously it comes with pilots, but also they're female. And it comes from their line, I think they call it the Guard Babes. Pretty tacky name, but very cool models. And they also do like a couple of like like squad-sized, or I suppose almost platoon-sized, I suppose, because you get like sort of 20-30 figures in a pack. Like sizes of those two particular things, Guard Babes, and I think their version of like the Elite Imperial Guard. So I actually picked up a couple of those, one of each of those sets too, although that was after Christmas. Now obviously, like I was saying, I ordered these originally for my birthday and didn't come until the sort of this came early January. The Grimguard armoured vehicle came probably week and a half, 2 weeks later. Basically just held up by Christmas, basically. Obviously they had loads of orders in, So let's give you a closer look at this thing. Now, I've got to say, you know, it's not perfect. I had lots of problems putting it together. Obviously, I mean, I'm no 3D print expert, but obviously things when they print don't always print off to exact measurements, perhaps. So I found that a lot of things didn't fit very well, and it took me probably a good 75% of the total time it took me to actually, you know, with building it and building problems. And one of the real big problems I had was with the rotors. The way it comes is there's this central piece here, and attached to this is the sort of the rotor housing, and it's basically got like 5 holes that go around this circular part up here, and all of the blades that came with it, and you actually get like I actually got a spare blade as well. The spare blade, so basically none of the blades fitted in these holes. So I started like shaving them down and trying to get them to fit. And then I found out that it's not really designed for them all to fit in at the size they were as well. So you basically were left with all of these rotors that needed to be individually cut to size so that they could fit into the rotor head. Now obviously the attachment between the top of the rotor and the actual mechanism is extremely thin. Now although this is pretty decent resin, it obviously is still brittle, so you know it was only a matter of time before that top part snapped off, and then I was left with the real dilemma of how am I going to, you know, have rotors on this thing. And it got to a point where I was almost thinking of just abandoning the rotors completely. In the end I managed to sort of Frankenstein together this 4-bladed setup, which is, you know, it's not too bad. It's not the 5 blades it's supposed to be, but it's not too bad. And I managed to magnetise it too, so in that sort of respect I think I managed to salvage it quite well. The second problem I had, or at least major problem, was attaching it to its base. Again, the base, this part here, the attachment was basically too large to fit into the hole that was cast into the bottom of the chopper. Again, because of the brittle nature of and the thinness of the resin, the top of the stand snapped in several places, even though I was just shaping it up to sort of preparing to cut it down to size. So I was left with the not being able to use the attachment to actually get it to stay on its base. So like, well, okay, it comes with landing gear. I could just put on its landing gear, but I kind of wanted it on its stand because it's, you know, it saves space by being up in the air. When I have it displayed in my Dettol. But also, the landing gear itself, which is designed to be retractable, both of the little attachments, I think one was a misprint actually, the rear landing gear had a misprint, so it never really had the proper clip that it's supposed to, it only had half of it, and the front one only had like half of the clip that it's supposed to have, and what you're supposed to do is to clip the landing gear into these clips, and it allows you to retract and to deploy the landing gear. So I had problems with that. So basically, none of the landing gear was fitting properly. It would just, have to come up with a way of. I think in the end, I decided to sort of blue tack it in, or white tack it, so again, putting it on its stand was kind of a necessity, really. So what I did in the end, again, obviously I was doing the stand at the very end. I basically, if I lift it up and show you, I basically used a 25mm base here, and I pinned it into the base here. So that piece of stand is pinned to the top of the base, and then I have a magnet attached to that, because obviously it's a flat surface, so you get a lot of strength on your attachment. And on the actual gunship itself, I actually used some plastic putty to fill in the hole and make it completely flat. So you probably got about 75% of the magnet attached to the bottom of the helicopter. So again, a nice firm fit. Now I found that when I first put it on, one magnet wasn't giving it the attachment strength that I felt safe for it to have. It would stay there, but it was very iffy, and it would like twist on its own. And I think once it actually fell off, and I had to sort of stick all the wings back on again. Very annoying. So I found that by adding an extra magnet, that gives it the extra grip needed, so that it's actually quite sturdy. You can still like move it around and stuff, but it's quite sturdily on the base, which makes a big difference. So let me just show you around this beautiful beast, because like I say, it's a really beautiful model. So you can see that I actually borrowed some of my Imperial Guard Vulture transfers to put on it. But basically you can see that it's, it's very gunship-like. So it's got this turret gun here. It's got two turret guns, two side sponsoon turret guns here and here. It's got this giant like Gatling autocannon type thing over the side. On this, taking up this complete hard point, both hard points, and then on the opposite side we have the sort of standard assault or gunship style rocket, folding fin rocket type pods, and I think that's quite a nice sort of balanced out weapons setup for it. You've got the two rocket pods on one side, and you've got the heavy autocannon or the heavy Gatling gun, which I would imagine would probably be a good 35-40 mic, I would have thought, with a massive ammo can there on the opposite side. Now, other things that this particular chopper does really well is it also has a small cabin on the inside, very hind-like. So it's got these doors, twin doors here. Now I think these were really supposed to be openable, but mine had really tight fittings. So again, I had to do some heavy modification, and just to get them to actually get onto the side of the chopper. So at the moment, although they're not glued, they're kind of set in their ways, not to be touched. But we also have at the very back here a openable rear ramp. Now I'm not going to try and attempt to open this on camera, because you have to kind of push it down and pull it out. It's got like a little lip there, and I don't really want to do that while it's on a stand. But that opens up, so if you could load some, maybe 4 or 5 troops in there. And my favourite part, of course, is the cockpit. So unfortunately there's no cockpit glass, but I did decide to set the cockpit up so that you can remove it and you can get a really good look at the really cool aircrew, the gunner and the pilot, which are really awesome figures. It's like I say, it's really cool that they're like female. Now they have got like quite sort of buffed out legs, which is a bit odd, but they are really cool figures. And I gloss varnished their visors to give them a nice shine, and the cockpit came out really cool in the gunship. So that is the Vulture gunship. I'll put the cockpit back on. You can see I've done that with a little bit of painted white tack, just at the back of the cockpit there. and I'll just give you kind of a look around the vehicle. It's a fair size. It's fairly heavy. It's not massively heavy. It's, you know, a lot of it's hollow. But yeah, I was really happy with how it turned out. And I did, although it's painted in a sort of a gunship green, I decided to do like a deserty type base for it. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and like I say, it's absolutely amazing value for money. Even if you do have to do a fair amount of modelling work on it to get it to all fit together properly. But so that is the Vulture gunship, and like I say, Hammerline Miniatures, £44, awesome. Really happy with that. Next up, we have another thing that caught my eye when I was looking through their science fiction vehicles section, and that is this. So this is well, it's actually just called a Grimguard armoured vehicle. It looks very sort of MRAP type design. I'll zoom in on it, so you can see that it's basically like this armoured, like troop carrier, 6 wheels. It's got these 2 like cannons on the side. It's also got a movable turret, which we had a choice of weapons for, and I decided to go for the twin Gatlings because they look really cool. And that is just on there loose. And again, made out of resin. Not massive amount of pieces. So let's try and think of the pieces now. So you've got 1, 2, the front section 3, the wheels 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the attachment for the wheels, making 11, 12, 13, 14 for the turret, 15 for the turret mount, 16 for the back, 17 for the back wheel, and 19 for the sides of this, 20 for that, 20 for the roof, 21 for the roof, and then so that's 21 pieces for the vehicle. So fairly easy to sit together. A little bit of trouble getting the sides and the front and back to line up. And then the coolest thing about this particular model is the fact that you can lift the top off, and inside there is a full squad of troops. There is the driver and vehicle commander. Now these guys, I think they're supposed to be the Krieg Death Guard, I think, because obviously they're called Grimguard. But these guys reminded me of the War Games Atlantic Germany type figures, which I do actually have, and I painted in this same colour scheme. So I decided to paint the vehicle and the troops in that same colour scheme, because I painted them up as a sort of a mercenary unit for core space. So I decided to actually incorporate that into this, and I think it came out really cool. And this was £20, including for everything. And you've got choices. You got a choice of weapon for this. You got a choice for weapons for that. Obviously, you also got 2 empty driver's seats. So if you wanted the vehicle empty, you could have it empty. And yeah, I think it's a really cool kit for £20. And I think it came out really cool painting wise as well. I basically just used, I literally just used the dark sea grey, Vallejo dark sea grey, and I actually used my grey paint pen, my AK paint pen to do the camouflage, and it worked really well. And that is what you're left with. I think it's came out really quite cool, and I'm very happy with it. So that is what I've been working on. Now I can kind of show you. Let's just move the camera for a second. Sorry about that. I have got a rather messy paint desk at the moment. So let me just move the camera across to there for a second while I grab my remaining stuff. So, like I say, what have I got left? So, Hammerline stuff wise, I actually have 3 bags full of things from Hammerline. So, bring this back. Temporarily move that to the back. So, what do I have here? So I have, these are the well, these are the storm babes, I think these are called, and these are basically like the equivalent of the I can't remember what they're called, the Elite Imperial Guard. And you get loads of them, and they come with separate heads. But here's like an example of one. Is it Storm Guard? Could it be? I'm not sure. Anyway, but yeah, that's the. Right, actually, are these? Yeah, these are the Storm Babes. Yeah. So they come in the grey, and then my Guard Babes. Yeah, not a fan of the name, by the way. They come in this kind of white cream resin. And now these are a little bit more scantily clad than the Storm ones, but they're pretty decent quality. They're all pretty clean. You know, some of them do have the odd little bit of support left. Like there's that little bit there. But yeah, again, these come with separate heads, and they're really, really cool. I'm quite looking forward to painting some of them up. And also, lastly, we have this thing called the objectives. Now, I decided to put these up because A, they're pretty cheap, and B, I really like one particular model. So, like I say, this is called the Objectives Pack. So these are basically like 3 little dioramas you can use for objectives. So here we have like a rifle just sticking out of the dirt as sort of a grave with a helmet on top. We have a rifle sitting on the ground with a flag. And perhaps my favourite, which is a Imperial Guard, or a Guard Babe Gunship pilot, like on the ground, crashed, taking cover behind a wall with their comms unit, like calling in rescue, which I think is really, really cool. And that's the reason why I decided to get this pack, just literally because of her. But yeah, really, really impressed by this company, and they do some absolutely beautiful vehicles. I mean, I think that one of my favourites is in their Grimguard line. They do some aircraft for them, and one of them is basically like a 150. I think these are like 32mm scale, but it's basically like a sort of a 32mm B-17 knockoff, Imperial sort of grimguarded up, and it's you know, it's a humongous model. I think it's like £100. It's quite big, in fact, very big. And you basically can. It comes with like a full crew, so it comes with like 10 crew, and you can basically lift off all the top and have access to the insides, and it's absolutely amazing model. And they also do I really recommend you go and have a look at this site, because they really do some really quite cool vehicles. They do like all the various types of tanks as well. And one of the coolest ones is this massive, I guess it's kind of Bane blade sized, but that comes with a full interior and crew as well. So really cool. Anyway, that's everything I want to show you. Hope everyone's doing well. Big thanks to some more subscribers, and I've got lots of things coming up that I'm going to be starting soon, and I'll keep you in the know. So until next time, catch you all later. Bye bye.